With a new Digimon story game coming out at some point, we haven't really heard much since Digimon Con last year. I thought it would be a pretty good time, especially since we've just had Digimon World Next Order re-released, that I go through all of the Digimon games that I've played and rank them. Now, in this ranking, I have included a few that I haven't played, just because you might want to do this ranking and maybe you've played some games that I haven't played. So I guess this video is also shame me from playing these games that I haven't played or what have you. I also haven't included any of the mobile games that never made their way either outside of Japan or outside of China, so I won't be including any of the games that basically just stayed in Japan, or the ones like New Century that never left China. Just the ones that I would have been able to play, like Digimon Heroes, Lynx, etc. So those aren't included in this. But yeah, so let's get straight into it. First up, we have the Digimon Adventure PSP game, which is basically just a retelling, or almost one-for-one retelling of the original adventure, except the other kids get their Digimon to Mega Stage. So I'm going to put this in C. I do own it, and I have played it, but I haven't finished it, but I played enough that I'm fairly confident in my ranking. And some of these I have played a little bit of, but haven't played enough to really formulate much of an opinion on it. Next we have all of the Anode and Cathode Tamer games, including the Veedramon Special Edition, which was released in Hong Kong and Korea, and is the one that's available in English. These three are more or less all the same game. I do actually really like tactical RPGs, so I really did actually enjoy these games. I'm going to put them in B. They're just going to hang out there. Next we have D Project, or Digimon Project. I have this one, but I haven't played it. Next we have Digimon All-Star Rumble, which isn't the best game, but I do actually have a lot of respect for this game on the basis that I feel like it really reignited the Digimon releases in, outside of Japan. This game came out and effectively a lot of people bought it just because it was Digimon, and we hadn't had a Digimon game released internationally for about a decade or so. So this game kind of felt like a big thing for the franchise because we weren't expecting any more Digimon games outside of Japan. And I firmly believe that this game is why we got Cyber Sleuth, because this game, it wasn't the most amazing game. You can't really find many people who have played much of it, but at the time, everyone in the community kind of said, okay, we're going to buy this game. We're not necessarily going to play the game, but we're going to buy this game because it basically will vote with our wallets and show Bandai that we want Digimon games released outside of Japan. So I'm going to put this in C as just a sign of respect. It is not a fantastic game, but it is, it's definitely a game. And you can't really deny the fact that it is a game, but it's just what it stands for, and it stands for what I believe to be the reason why we do have games outside of Japan now, because people went out and bought this average game. Next, of course, we have the Atmon game, which I'm a huge fan of this game. I do like it. I love the fact that it uses the Digimon Atmon chips that you could buy, and you could use them in the game using the 3DS camera. I thought that was a great feature, great bit of functionality. The game didn't sell particularly well. I'm fairly certain it only sold a few thousand copies from memory, but it is a fairly fun game with some great mechanics. I'm gonna put this in I'm gonna put this in B tier because when I played it, my grasp of the Japanese language wasn't too fantastic, so I'm not really sure about how good the story was, but in terms of the gameplay and the mechanics, I'm a big fan of that, so it gets to be in B. Next, we have Brave Tamer, which I haven't gotten around to playing it yet. I am slowly playing through the WonderSwan games. It's taking me a while, but I haven't played that one yet. I will one day, I promise, but today is not that day. Next we have Cyber Sleuth. I really like Cyber Sleuth. I'm gonna put this in A. I really like Cyber Sleuth, and I'll probably also put Hacker's Memory also in A. I like them both. I have also separated Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory, because when I originally played it, they were separate games, so I'm counting them as two separate games, rather than one being the complete edition. Obviously, since I'm pretty sure I'm going to be putting both in A, you can just put that in as me putting the complete edition in as A. However, I am replaying Cyber Sleuth at the moment. It's really hard in terms of replaying, not because of the gameplay being hard, but it's kind of a slog to get through on the basis that you can't skip text and you can't skip cutscenes, which you can in Next Order, which is good, but you can't in Cyber Sleuth, so it makes replaying it kind of a little bit slow, because sometimes I get what's going on, I just want to replay it, but some of the cutscenes just drag on, especially at the start of the game. There's no way to skip that. So I really wish there was a way to do that, because it is pretty slow. However, other than that, great game, loved it when I first played it. However, it's not a game that is super easy to pick back up and replay it, because you can't skip things, and that is kind of rough. Next we have D1 Tamer, which I haven't played that one yet. Not much more to say about that. Then we have the card games, which I do own, and I'm going to put, there's the other one. So there's the English release of the Digimon card battle game, and then there was another one released in Japan only. I'm putting them both under haven't finished, because I have only played maybe less than an hour on each of them, and I don't really have much to say about these games. Are they the same gameplay as the card game in Digimon World? Because if so, infuriating. That's it, in my memory at least. Next we have Digimon World Championship, or just Digimon Championship as it's known in Japan. Love this game, love it so much, probably one of my favourite games. I really wish there were more of these titles. I love the gameplay. I feel like it's a really fun, unique game with a huge range of Digimon. I'm gonna put it in A. I really do like this game. Next we've got the Digimon Fusion mobile game, which acted as a companion for the Fusion Loader US release, which I've done a video on it before. It's basically just a cheap version of a CSA. Instead of having any gameplay, you would use these cards that came with the Cross Wars figures, or Digimon Fusion figures rather, and pressing the card would make different sounds into it, because each one had kind of like a code, and you had to press in that code from the card and it would just make sounds, and you could digicross that way. It was also kind of like a less cool version of the Apply Drive toy release. So I'm going to put that in F, because it's just terrible. Obviously, it's not available as far as I'm aware anymore, for good reason. It is terrible. It's not fun. It's just a mobile version of the Fusion Loader US toy, which is just not good. Next we have Digimon Lynx, which is, I'm going to put this in C. It's fine. It's very much just like, this is a mobile game. Barely had story until it closed down, sadly enough. So it's just going to go in C. It's fine. I prefer Rear Eyes, but it was fine. I don't mind Digimon games that are just kind of just, hey look, it's just a gacha game with Digimon in it, with a Digimon skin, and that's basically what Lynx felt like. Next we have Kid Station, which I have played and have actually done videos, or a video on it, very early on in this YouTube channel's life. It's very cute. Definitely would be, it's not cool, it's not fun for adults, I guess. I had quite a bit of fun when I played it for the channel, but I wouldn't go through and say, hey, this is an amazing game. It's just mini games with Digimon characters from the first 3 seasons, and it's basically just that. If I had kids, I'm sure they would love it. It is very much just like a very basic kids game. It's basically like baby's first Digimon game. And it's just mini games, but it's cute. Next we have Digimon Racing, which I do actually own in both English and Japanese, but I haven't really played much of it. The bits that I have played make me want to put it in E, just because it's very much just like every racing clone that was out on the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance back around that time. I had an Ants version of it. They're all very much the same, trying to cash in on that Mario Kart feel and that Mario Kart fad. Everyone got a racing game at the time. And it basically doesn't really go beyond just like, this is just a Mario Kart clone with Digimon. And I'm not one of those people who says, oh, this game that is similar to this other game is just ripping it off. But this one felt extremely like that. It's cute, but it just feels a little bit too much like just a cheeky clone. Next we have the Rumble Arena 2. I only have played it in the English version. It did have a Japanese release. I forgot what it's called. It's something different from Rumble Arena, but I'm gonna put this in I would put it in C, and I'll probably put the first Digimon Rumble Arena there in C as well. It's fine. It is just the same as Rumble Arena, I guess, but it doesn't really have any big landmark for the franchise that I would call it. However, fun fact about the first Digimon Rumble Arena is that you can actually win the entire game just as Vmon by just spamming V Headbutt, because there's basically no recovery time for the V Headbutt from Vmon, and it actually is a hindrance to evolve because your hitbox is bigger when you are Impale-Dramon, and your recovery time is longer. So with your very little recovery time, it's very quick, you just kind of can spam it, and your V headbutt and you'll immediately be able to do your next attack. You can just spam that button, and you can defeat the final boss just by doing that. So that's just a fun little thing that I learnt when playing that game quite a while ago. Next we have the Digimon World or Digimon Story games for the DS. I like these. They have a fairly large roster of Digimon, which is great. But there is a lot of grinding, and a lot of the, sorry, my eye's really itchy, and a lot of the Digimon DS games do have an issue with grinding, and I'm now seeing that I'm putting everything in C place, which is, I guess that makes sense, because for the most part, I would say most Digimon games are kind of mid, and having them in C rank makes sense. I did play all of Digimon Story back when I had very little knowledge of the Japanese language, and I played it because I bought it when I was in Japan with a school trip in year 9, I think it was. It's fine, huge roster, and Dusk and Dawn I probably would also... yeah, I'll put Dusk and Dawn or Sunburst and Moonlight in C as well. So that's just how I'm feeling. Next we have Digimon World 2, which I've probably only put a few hours in. It never came to Australia, so I've only played the Japanese version on my Japanese PlayStation 1. I am enjoying it, but there are a few bits that don't feel like they've aged fantastically. And I probably would have loved this game if I played it when it was released, but it feels very dated at this point. However, I'll probably put it in B. I do like it, but again, it feels very dated and aged, but it's got some bits that I like about it, so it gets to be in B. Next we have Digimon World 2003, which nostalgia says that I should put it in S, because in my mind this is the greatest Digimon game to ever exist, but I'm probably going to knock it down to A, just because I know that that's just nostalgia. I played it a lot when I was a kid. I probably put hundreds of hours in and never finished it. It was very hard, a lot of grinding, which makes it probably not an amazing game to go back and play now. And I've mentioned in countless videos that it deserves a remaster, or at the very least a port. It's a great game. It's very fun. One of my favourites. Got a great cast of Digimon, and it had great animations at the time, maybe not now. But I'm just going to put it in A, just because it probably should be lower, but I'm not willing to hurt my nostalgia brain that much. Next we have Digimon World Data Squad, which never came to Australia, and I don't own a Japanese or US PlayStation 2, so I've not played it and I don't own it. It's probably the only Digimon game that I don't own, which is kind of a shame. Next we have Digimon World on the PlayStation 1. I'm going to put this in D. I did play this as a kid. I played it a lot, but it was definitely too hard for me, and it was before I had easy access to the internet. So it's one of those games that it's incredibly hard to play, and while I do have nostalgia for it, it's not a game that I have that many fond... I have fond memories of certain things, but I didn't ever finish it. I didn't even get close to finishing it, and I feel like I'm not really a big fan of the VPET mechanic. You get really far ahead in the game, and then your Digimon reverts, and you have to raise it up from an egg again, and it feels very grindy. So I'm not really a big fan of the world or the VPET-esque mechanic Digimon games. A lot of people are going to disagree with that. That's completely fine. I'm just going to put that there because I feel like my C rank is too overpopulated. And also, I'm not the biggest fan of this game. Also, I used the American cover for this ranking, so I prefer the PAL cover, which I much rather prefer because of nostalgia. And also, it had Digimon that don't actually appear in Digimon World. They just used the Adventure Digimon because Adventure was new, and they thought it would sell more copies, I guess. Next we have the Sega Saturn Digimon game. I have it. I've played maybe 30 minutes of it a few years back when my Japanese was much worse. I do want to revisit it one day and probably will for a video. For now I'm putting it in didn't play, haven't finished. Next we have the version WonderSwan. It goes in E. I'm bad at this game. I'm very bad at this game. It goes in E. Because I'm bad at this game. Because of me. I should be putting myself in E rank. I prefer Digimon virtual pets when they're like real time and I can carry them around, and I feel like it just hasn't aged fantastically. It's in black and white, and I don't know, I like all the fan projects that do similar. I feel like they do a better job of this. I feel like this one is a little bit unclear in how to play it, and again, I'm bad at video games, so sue me. Next we have the Digimon Digital Partner game, which I have played a little bit of, but not enough to really formulate a solid opinion. It's a cute game where you can effectively teach vocab to a Digimon, and you make friends, and it's compatible with the Wonder Wave, which is compatible with the Pocket Station, and it's fine. I don't have many opinions about it. I should replay it, or go back into playing it rather. Next we have Hacker's Memory, which, as I mentioned, goes up there with Cyber Sleuth. Really enjoyed it. I kind of flip-flop on which one I prefer. I might prefer Hacker's Memory, but it builds on what Cyber Sleuth built up, because it's what I call a during-quel, which takes place during the events of the story. So yeah, it goes in A. Next we have Lost Evolution, which I have started, but only played about an hour of. Next we have Next Order. I'm playing this game at the moment. I'm playing the Switch version. I'm finally past where I was for the PlayStation 4 version, which I started playing, got about halfway through, and then for some reason just lost interest. I'm really enjoying this. It fixes most of my complaints on the original Digimon World. It just is... It's fine. I really do like it. I might put it in... I'm going to put it in A. The Pocket Station games, I'm going to put them all, even though I've played quite a bit of them, I'm going to put them in... I've probably got enough of... I'm probably going to put them in D. Because I'm not good at them. They come with the Pocket Station, and I'm really bad at training. I always get the Poo Monster or the Bad Care or the Trice Evolutions from them. I'll do a video on them one day, once I'm able to enjoy it, once I'm better at video games, basically, and I'm not good at video games. Next we have the 3DS and PSP Digimon World games. I have them. I've not played them. I should play them one day, but for now, they go in didn't play, haven't finished. Next we have the Digimon Cross Wars DS games, which I've recently started, but they're also going to go in Didn't Play, Haven't Finished because I've only played about an hour or so, or maybe even less. They go in there. Survive, I'm putting in S tier. It's not my go-to recommendation when someone asks me if they're new to Digimon video games and what should they play. I always say Cyber Sleuth, but my favourite of the Digimon games is actually Survive. It did a lot of things that I've always wanted from Digimon in terms of story, and I love that. I played all the endings. I'm a big fan of it. All the playthroughs are available on this channel if you're curious, and I've done multiple reviews on it. It is just the perfect Digimon game for me. I'm not a huge visual novel person, but I still felt like there was enough of the other gameplay to get by. Big fan of it. If you enjoyed Danganronpa level of visual novels, you'll probably enjoy it because it's the same sort of, has visual novel aspects, and then you can like do the point and click adventure things, and then there's other parts of gameplay. I've heard it's like Fire Emblem. I haven't played any Fire Emblem games, so I can't really say whether or not that's true. It's a tactical RPG with visual novel elements. Big fan of it. I recommend it to people who like that sort of game. It's not one that I can really easily recommend because some people just don't like anything that's visual novel-esque, and that's completely valid. But for me, it was the perfect Digimon game. It goes in S. Love it so much. Next we have Rearise, Rest in Peace. It's going to go in B. It did a lot better than the previous game of Digimon Lynx. It still felt like just a gacha game, but it goes in B. Next we have Digimon Heroes, which goes in A. I love this game so much. I miss it every day. It was a really good mobile game. It was like one of those match the colors games. Big fan of it. Next we have Digimon Masters. It's F tier. It is incredibly predatory. When you try to hatch an egg to get a certain Digimon, there is an extremely hilariously, tragically low chance of actually getting something, and it basically wants you to pay money to ensure that that egg actually hatches and doesn't just break. It's extremely grindy to get even one egg, and the materials you have to put into it just make it feel like it's not worth it unless you spend money. And when I played many hours of this, the only reason I didn't put money into it is because I was a poor university student. So it's very predatory. I'm glad I didn't get into it when I actually had a job and when I was just a poor university student, because definitely would have put money into it, definitely would have had regrets. It goes in F. A Digimon RPG I did play when I was in high school. I'm gonna put it in Didn't Play, Haven't Finished, but I don't think I enjoyed it because I didn't play much of it. I can't remember why I didn't play much of it, but I think I was at the stage where I was probably thinking I was too cool for Digimon because I was in high school or something. Yeah, it goes there. Next we have all the Battle Spirit games, so 1, 1.5, and 2. These are all kind of, they're definitely Smash clones, but they feel less like just a cheap clone as compared to Digimon Racing being a Mario Kart clone. So they go in D. They're fine. I haven't played them for a while, admittedly. They're just fine. They go in D. Next we have the card game, which is basically just the older Digimon card game, but you can play it on WonderSwan. It's exactly what you'd expect. I'm putting it in D. I like how you can use the WonderSwan in different, like you can play when it's portrait, not just when it's landscape. That's pretty cool. This is the Digimon crossover game, which I'm going to put, I played it a little bit ago. I might just put, yeah, I played it so long ago I can't really remember. I remember liking it because it was a crossover and it had 02 characters, and I really like 02 characters, but I don't have any other feelings apart from that. Digimon World 4 or Digimon World X, which for some reason is still called Digimon World 4 in Australia, even though we didn't have Digimon World 2, and Digimon World 3 here was called Digimon World 2003. No idea why we didn't get it called Digimon X here. We got it called Digimon World 4, which goes Digimon World 2003, Digimon World 4. That's not how you count. Anyway, I did a few playthroughs of this very early on in the YouTube channel's life. I'm gonna put it in D. It's a fine game. I'm glad that they're doing different mechanics and different genres with their games, but no, I'll put it in C. I enjoyed bits of it, but it was very different. It didn't feel like a Digimon game. It felt kind of like a Dark Souls game, almost. It felt closer to a Dark Souls game than a Digimon game, but at least they were trying to do something different. The Digivice PSP game I'm putting in F tier. It is the exact same as the Digivice Pedometer quest-based toy, however, it responds not by walking, which is the point of it, it's by button mashing. It feels like it completely removes the point of the game. Next, the Pocket Kalumon game. Also did a video on this fairly early on in this channel's lifespan. I'm gonna put it in C. It's pretty cute. And lastly, Tag Tamers, which I'm currently playing. I'm gonna put this in D because it takes all the mechanics that I like out of Anode and Cathode Tamer and changes the genre. I don't know why the WonderSwan games feel like they constantly need to change up the genre of the Rio games, but it is definitely a thing. So in any case, those are my thoughts about the Digimon games. Looks like I've got a few that I still need to play to formulate more of an opinion on. There's a lot hanging out in the didn't play, haven't finished area, so you can shame me below in the comments. But I will link this tier maker in the description and make sure that you tweet at me your results because I'd love to see what other people would rank in terms of these games. And I'm curious to see if anyone's played every single Digimon game or if I just have a really weirdly long list of games that I haven't played for Digimon despite owning them, well, most of them. And yeah, so those are my thoughts on every single Digimon game that I've got so far. Really looking forward to the next Digimon story game, wherever that may be. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below or tweet at me on Twitter at TranslationMon and share me your ranking as well. Like this video if you think I should play more Digimon games apparently, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have subscribed, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies, and of course, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!